Jeff, are you there?
Hey guys, I'm over here.
Jeff, is that you?
I wanted to show you my true identity. It's time to reveal myself as Spies. Spies in disguise.
Guys, should we tell him he's a donut?
No, I think he's better this way.
Kidz Review Crew!
Welcome back to Kidz Review Crew.
Today, we will be reviewing Spies in Disguise.
This movie is about a guy named Lance Sterling, a top-notch spy who goes undercover as a pigeon.
This movie stars Will Smith and Tom Holland. Let's get started.
We have different skill sets. That's what makes us such a great team.
Walter, you're squeezing too. Oh!
Okay guys, you're freshly back from watching Spies in Disguise, but before we get into the review, let's just check in with each one of you and see what's going on. Now, we're only a few days away from Christmas when we tape this. Everybody looking forward to Christmas?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much.
So
Anybody,
excited.
anybody know what Santa's bringing them yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
A desk.
A desk. Okay, anybody getting coal this Christmas?
Probably me.
You?
My brother.
Have you been bad this year?
Yeah.
Oh no. So let's get right into it. So this is Will Smith's latest film. So did you think that Will Smith made a credible pigeon?
Yes, in a way, because I feel like if a pigeon had a voice, it'd be Will Smith.
Wow, okay. What do you think?
I think Will Smith is one of the only people that could play like a really funny pigeon because he's a really funny person.
He is truly a funny person.
And he played the pigeon well.
Okay. Well, you just have to put that on his resume.
Yeah,
Special skills. I can play pigeon.
that's his special
Excellent.
skills.
Jacob, what do you think?
Well, I think he's good, but because his voice is like, I don't know how to say this.
It's ironic because his voice is so deep.
Yeah,
he's such a little
then
bird.
his character's like so little.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's a pretty good pigeon.
Yeah, see, for me, I always think a pigeon would have like a really high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
So hearing a pigeon with like a big, deep bass voice, this doesn't make sense to me. But I can suspend disbelief.
Let's watch Vin Diesel as a pigeon.
Okay. Well, maybe that's the next casting job. So what did you think? Did you think there was chemistry between Will Smith and Tom Holland?
Yes, I did actually, because I mean, it's not really easy to get on-screen chemistry because the actors aren't actually on screen, so
Right.
you can't really tell. But I feel like they actually seemed like real friends, like real people that would be friends with each other.
Right.
So I feel like they did a really good job with that.
I think their chemistry is good. You could hear them really comfortable when they talk, like they're used to each other. So I think they've seen each other before and they have a very good chemistry.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of tricky in animation. James mentioned that, but it's tricky in animation to get that chemistry because oftentimes they record the dialogue separately. So they're not even always in the same studio because they're recording it after the animation's done. Now, do you think there's a message behind this movie?
Yes, I feel like it's always stay true to your friends and don't judge a person by who they are, and violence can't solve everything. There are lots of messages in this movie,
Wow.
but I feel like it's kind of overused.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go down the line. What do you think?
Yeah, same with James. Like, there's lots of messages like, don't judge someone how they think. Yeah, and don't use violence for every situation. All kinds of.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, what is it?
Next. What do you think?
Like they said, I think they're pushing no violence and don't judge, and it's very good for the more younger audience to kind of get an influence. So they said it a lot around the movie to not use violence, and I think that's a good idea so you could spread the mindset of a child to become more nicer and less violent.
That's a really good point. I'm curious. The movie seemed a little violent to me, which is kind of contrary to that message. How do you think it was really violent?
I think some parts of the movies were kind of violent because they did have a lot of fight scenes that were kind of a lot of action.
Right.
But some scenes were actually true to comedy, and they just I know they had a fun time with the movie.
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
I felt like they used the violence to kind of push showing that that is what it is, and it's good to not use violence. They were kind of showing how the violence is.
Right.
But I also feel like at the same time showing that the violence is there and it's an actual, like, it's like being showcased in a movie. Like, I mean, most kids nowadays have seen the Avengers movies
Right.
and
Lots
all
of
those,
violence,
yeah,
yeah.
lots of violence in those movies.
Yeah. Now, do you think, I think you touched on this, but do you think that they pushed the messaging a little too far in this movie so that it maybe was hitting people over the head, no pun intended, with the anti-violence message? Lily, you seem to want to respond to that.
They didn't push it that far. Like, yeah, they had a lot of messages, but they didn't push it so far that too many.
Okay.
Like, they had a good amount.
Okay. What do you think, Raydon?
I think they pushed it a little bit too far, but not too far, because they were spreading the message a lot, which is good, but I think they kind of spread it out a little bit too much. Like, they should have talked about, like, other things, because they talked about judging and violence a lot. So I think they should have talked about other messages, but the messages that they did spread were really good.
How about you, James?
Well, I feel like they did push it a lot. I wouldn't say too far, because it's kind of good to show that violence isn't that good, because I know a lot of kids that watched old violent movies like Die Hard and that kind of stuff, or
Oh,
the
man,
new
Die Hard again.
the new Avengers movies. I feel like that is kind of showcasing them that, like, violence is cool, but this kind of movie, it's a really nice movie, and it's the kind of movie that a kid would see, and it's not like a younger or older kid. I feel like it's kind of that right age where kids are starting to watch more violent or more mature movies. So I feel like with that message, it's kind of pushing that, hey, violence isn't cool, and it can be solved in a different way.
That next generation concealment tech, you wouldn't happen to have it on hand, would you?
I do happen to have it in hand.
Show it to me.
Sure, well, can I offer you a drink? I got water, drinkable meal replacement.
We had a drink. Blah. Diet stuff has a weird aftertaste. What's the tech?
Well, you just drank it.
Oh! What's happening to my hand?
It worked.
What was your favorite character? Let's start with you, Lily.
My favorite character was actually a pigeon named Jeff.
Pigeon named Jeff.
He was so cute.
Thank you. Oh, I mean, you mean the pigeon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me.
I like the bad guy because it's Ben Mendelsohn, and Ben Mendelsohn always plays such a great bad guy. And I also feel like it's kind of one of the first bad guys in an animated movie that you can show he's human.
Okay. Now, one thing that's, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but of course Disney bought 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
And this is a 20th Century Fox film, Blue Sky Animation. So it's they used to be competitors to Disney, and now they're owned by Disney. How do you feel this works in the Disney universe now? I mean, this is not a typical Disney film. James, you're our resident film expert. What do you think of this?
Well, I would say I feel like Disney is releasing a lot of movies action-oriented with all the Star Wars and Avengers movies.
True.
And I feel like because of that, I think they want like a kids movie, like maybe like younger kids can watch and enjoy, but also have that experience of kind of going to an Avengers movie, kind of being excited. So
maybe this is a transition film between, say, Frozen and Star Wars.
thank God, yes.
Yeah, it could be a Disney movie. I can already see rides at Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like
A pigeon ride.
Yeah, a roller coaster, and the carts are like a pigeon.
Nice.
And then like,
I'd ride that.
or
Especially if my car was called Jeff.
VR,
Oh, yeah.
like virtual reality, and then like the little robots are attacking you, and you have to like punch them and kick them.
Raydon, what do you think?
Yeah, I like them too. I think it's like transitioning between like an action movie, a comedy movie, like those two. Yeah,
And so you think it works within the Disney world then?
Yeah.
Subject appears disoriented.
Walter, what did you do?
Hey, Lance, look at me.
Look at you? I can't not look at you, Walter. I can see my butt and your face at the same time.
I'm a freak connection, baby. New dose.
Okay, guys, we're at that point in the review where we have to give our final reviews. Now, you remember the scoring system. It's 1 to 5, 1 at the low end, where that's a terrible movie, and 5 is like the greatest thing, and then everything in between. You know the scores. Now, what are we going to rate it out of this week? Anybody got an idea?
Feathers.
Pigeon feathers?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's do that. And now let's start the reviews with you.
I would say probably 3.5 because I liked it, but there was some parts I think that weren't like needed. Some they could have just like left it. They didn't have to put it in. But other than that, I liked it.
Okay. Raydon, your feather count.
I think 4.5 pigeon
Wow, okay.
feathers because it was a great movie, awesome movie. I think everything was great except for the fact that they were trying to pull off a message of don't do violence while they were still fighting with each other, and they weren't really spreading that message until the very, very end. So I think if they just changed a little bit of that, it would be a direct 5.
Really?
But it was overall an awesome movie, and
Excellent.
I really liked it.
Okay, Lily, what do you think?
I give a 4.5 as well.
Wow, okay.
Because I think this movie was really great. Like, the violence, yes, I think they added a little bit too much violence for the message.
Okay.
Even though they gave out that message, they were still putting in the violence. I think they could have took a little bit of that out,
Right.
but then it would be a 5 out of 5.
Okay. And your score, James?
I probably rated a 3.5 like Jacob because, like he said, there were some unneeded scenes, some really gross stuff.
Oh,
There were also some elements incorporated into the movie that I felt like were a little adult for a kids movie.
okay.
Other than that, I thought the movie was good.
Okay. Well, guys, that was an awesome review. Thank you so much for reviewing Spies in Disguise. Woohoo!
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to follow us on social media.
Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Join us next time when we watch and review Little Women.
Cut. Hey, donuts. Sorry.
Now who's gonna host?
Women, oh, I was gonna say Women Little again.
Women Little.
All right. Reset. Looking at the lens, James.